The future of the monarchy. Prince William takes Prince George under his wing. The young prince's face was a mask of concentration as he sat at the large mahogany table, his eyes fixed attentively on the papers spread out before him. Though barely 8 years old, Prince George's demeanor was that of a seasoned statesman as he listened intently to the debate unfolding around him. Seated to his right was his father, Prince William, the future King of England, who had made the decision to begin including his eldest son in all the royal family's private meetings and affairs. It was a bold move, one that had raised some eyebrows within the palace walls, but William was convinced it was a necessary step in preparing the young prince for the weighty responsibilities that would one day be his. But before we continue, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you will never miss out any of our updates. We must consider the implications of this new legislation very carefully, William was saying, his brow furrowed in thought. While it may provide short-term relief, the long-term consequences could be disastrous for the economy and the country as a whole. George nodded solemnly, his mind racing as he processed the information. Though his understanding of the complexities of government and policy was still developing, the young royal was determined to learn all he could. After all, he was the future King of England, a truth that was never far from his mind. As the meeting drew to a close, William placed a gentle hand on his son's shoulder. "Well done, George," he murmured. "You're really starting to grasp these issues. I'm proud of you." A small smile tugged at the corners of the young prince's mouth. Praise from his father, the man he admired and respected more than anyone else, meant the world to him. It was a validation of his hard work and dedication, and a reminder that he was on the right path. Ever since George's 8th birthday, William had made a concerted effort to include him in the royal family's private discussions and deliberations. It was a decision that had not been made lightly, as the prospect of a child sitting in on such high-level meetings was unprecedented. However, William was adamant that his son be prepared for the day when he would ascend to the throne. "These are the issues that will shape the future of our country," William had told his wife, Kate, when they had first discussed the idea. "George needs to understand the gravity of his role and the weight of the decisions that will one day rest on his shoulders." Kate had been understandably hesitant at first, worried that the burden might be too much for their young son to bear. But William had been resolute, and in the end, she had agreed that it was the right thing to do. And so, for the past several months, George had been a regular fixture at the royal family's private meetings, quietly observing and learning as his father and the other senior members of the monarchy grappled with the pressing issues of the day. It was a steep learning curve, to be sure, but George was more than up to the challenge. He possessed a keen intellect and an innate sense of duty that belied his tender years. And with William's guidance and support, he was quickly gaining a deeper understanding of the complex web of politics, diplomacy, and public service that define the life of a royal. Of course, not everyone was thrilled with William's decision. Some within the palace walls whispered that the young prince was being thrust into the spotlight too soon, that the weight of his responsibilities might prove too much for him to bear. But William remained steadfast in his conviction, confident that he was doing what was best for his son and for the future of the monarchy. And as George sat there, his eyes alight with a newfound sense of purpose, it was clear that the young prince was more than ready to take on the mantle of leadership. He may have been just a child, but there was a maturity and gravity to him that belied his years. In that moment, as he listened to the voices of the seasoned statesmen and diplomats around him, George knew that he was where he was meant to be. This was his destiny, his calling, to serve his country and his people with every fiber of his being. It was a daunting prospect, to be sure, but George was undaunted. He would rise to the challenge, just as his father had done before him. And with William by his side, guiding him and shaping him into the leader he was meant to be, he knew that he was more than ready to take on the responsibilities that lay ahead. The future of the monarchy was in good hands.